I've seen a lot of rumors about the upcoming iPhone SE 4, and I have concerns about it. So I thought, okay, y'all guys know I love the iPhone SE, the iPhone SE 2022, fantastic phone. This one's actually the iPhone SE 2020 because I got it for like 160 bucks. So a lot of you guys and gals know that if I carry an iPhone in my pocket, it's this. Like, I love the iPhone SE, and even though I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, I record on it. I haven't used a SIM card with it in like 6 months. Don't care for it. I really enjoy the SE form factor, and I know a lot of other people do too. And I've talked about this in previous videos. I mean, shoot, the iPhone SE 2020 sold like over 25 million phones like the year it came out. It sold more phones than Samsung sold that year of their flagship series phones, right? So a lot of people like it. Whether you can explain why, yes, I know it's not the best phone in the world. This is not the best phone in the world. It's definitely not. It has an old rinky-dink camera in it. I mean, the iPhone SE 2022 has the same camera in it. But the 2022 model has some important things like 5G. It's also got the A15 Bionic chip in it, which is insane because the phone's barely $400 and it has the same chip in it that the iPhone 13 does. So it's not really using all of that power in most instances. Not a lot of people are playing Fortnite on here. They're not playing all those crazy AAA title games, which you can. I mean, you certainly can if you want to, but this is not a phone built for gaming. This is not a phone built because, okay, people want 120 hertz refresh rate, OLED, and all those crazy things. But the rumors I'm seeing are concerning because they're talking about, okay, taking away the physical fingerprint sensor, taking away Touch ID, putting a notch in it, making it basically look exactly like the iPhone 14. Maybe not with no dynamic island, but the iPhone 14 doesn't have that anyway, like the Pro Max does and the Pro, but still. It sounds to me like they're trying to turn the iPhone SE into basically a new iPhone XR. Like, basically, it would be like an iPhone 15R maybe. And I think that's a mistake. And I think there's a lot of stuff that folks like about the iPhone SE that they should consider keeping in the phone that I think would make a lot of people happy. For instance, my mom had an iPhone 7 and it had the notorious problem with the handset speaker going out. She couldn't talk to people on the phone anymore. So she went into the store and then the salesman sold her on an iPhone 13 and she didn't realize that she could get the iPhone SE 2022. Like, she didn't consult me first. Big mistake, Mom. But she went to AT&T. They had a deal. They gave her the iPhone 13 for free, with an upgrade on her contract and stuff. And that was fine. But she complains about it all the time. And she just misses her Touch ID. She misses her 4.7-inch screen. She misses her iPhone SE. So there's a lot of things that people like about this phone. They like that it's small. So we appreciate that the phone's small. We appreciate we have easy access, Touch ID. It doesn't matter there's not 3 cameras. It doesn't matter there's no telephoto. It matters it's not $1,000. It matters it's not $800. And we're even looking at possibly, it sounds like, a price increase on the iPhone by $100 to $200 this year. So yeah, I think that there's some mistakes that are made there. And I think people misunderstand how many phones these actually sell. I mean, they sell like 20 million a year. And it's insane because you take a look at, like, Samsung can't even do that with their S22 series phones or the S23 series phones. And then people are like, oh, nobody wants the iPhone SE, and then it sells 20 million. So, there's a lot of folks that still like this. They like the traditional form factor. They like that it's simple. They like that it's familiar. And you can't overemphasize Touch ID. So if they're going to take out the Touch ID sensor here, which I'm not completely opposed to, they could put it in the power button, just like they've done with the iPad Air. I mean, it's right there. You just touch it. If you've got the Touch ID built into the power button, I think some people would even like that better. Some folks just don't like Face ID, especially older generations or people that are like not used to all that crazy technology stuff. They just like to be able to touch the power button and have the phone come on and unlock. And Apple has demonstrated they can do that. But for some reason, they're very hesitant about incorporating that into their higher-end phones. So I think my dream sheet, if they are making iPhone SE 4, and there's people saying it could come out in 2024 or 2025, I think we'll see it in the spring. And the spring of 2024. So I think it'll come out next year. That's when the iPhone SEs traditionally come out. The 2020 came out, I believe, around April 2020. The SE 2022, I believe it came around April. So I expect that we'll probably see it this next coming spring, not in 2025 like some of the leaks and the rumors say. But if they turn it to a 6.1-inch screen, they put Face ID on there, they take away the Touch ID sensor, and then still give us only one camera, which I don't think is in the world. If you have the one primary camera that's in the iPhone 14 or 13 now, that's going to be a nice step up from the really old 12 megapixel phone that's in here. And I think we are in need of an update, but also I understand price is also a big consideration. So you don't want to outprice this out of the people's range who are actually interested in the phone. So I understand why Apple would be interested in reusing basically the same screen, because if they have 3 or 4 phones with a 6.1 inch screen, it saves them money. They don't have to retool and put in a different size screen in there. But I really think they should make it smaller. Now, we have the iPhone 13 mini, which I think is a good phone. I don't think we need a new mini every year. And a lot of people think, well, the iPhone mini should have been the new iPhone SE, but I still think fundamentally there's a big difference there. And if you take a look at pricing, it was what, $699 for the iPhone 13 mini versus what, the $429, $449. I'm sorry, I just can't remember the price off the top of my head for the iPhone SE. So there's still a significant price gulf in between there. So if they could turn, like, let's say, the iPhone mini and the iPhone SE into the same phone, if they still took the same things away that I'm talking about here, and hey, you could even throw in 2 cameras if you want, but if you have one camera, if you have it maybe a little bit smaller screen, not the 6.1 inch screen, something that's very easily managed one-handed, put Touch ID into the power button and sell it for about $500, sell it for $499, then I think that would be a good spot. Apple could increase their profit margin, but they could still keep that lower end threshold for the pricing, because iPhones are innately expensive. Like, they are, and of course they've always been a status symbol. They've always been expensive phones and things like that. But I think it's very key to the SE legacy, to the SE name, to people who appreciate what the SE brings to the table. And I think that that would make it where they could still tie that in, get that legacy like contract with the people socially who appreciate the brand, and then still give us that smaller phone. Because I think it's really important to have a smaller phone in the iPhone inventory. I mean, if you take a look at all the other phones that are coming out, they're all 6 inches, 6.5, 6.8, like 4.7 inches. But it goes to a little over 5 inches when you take out these bezels all the way around the screen. Like, there's ways they could make this more efficient. If you get the whole screen real estate, that's what you get with the iPhone mini. And that's what made the iPhone mini special, was because it still gave you the same form factor, took away Touch ID, gave you the 2 cameras on the back like the regular iPhone 12 and 13. So I think there's a way they could do this, still keep the price down, still keep Touch ID, still keep people happy that way, a little bit more screen space, updated processor, more 5G bands, and a refresh camera. If they could sell that for $500, I think it would sell like hotcakes. But that, I think, also therein lies the problem. Because then, if you make a phone like that, you might start undercutting more sales from the higher end iPhones. And iPhone really likes to keep their premium tier margins and their expensive phones. So I don't know. I don't think it'll come out in 2025. I think it'll come out in 2024. The only reason I could think 2025 is because the iPhone SE has such a long lifespan on it, because it has such a capable processor. But the reason we got the big refresh in 2022 is because of the 5G bands. The iPhone SE 2020 is 4G LTE. It doesn't have 5G. So that was the real big important refresh for the iPhone SE 2022. So it's not necessarily that we need a new one every 2 years. I think this one would be fine to go to 2025 if we hit that, because there's not that sense of urgency, because we already have 5G. So if it goes to 2025, that's fine. 3 years is a pretty good life cycle on a phone. And I think most people who have an iPhone SE are still really happy with it. I made so many videos where folks come in and they're like, you know what? I got rid of this phone and went to the SE. I love it. I still have an iPhone SE. I love it. I got rid of I know people who've got rid of much, much better phones, want this kind of smaller, single, easy-handed form factor, minimalism kind of aspect, and more efficient, like price-wise phone. And they just like the nostalgia, and people love Touch ID. So there's a lot here that people like. There's a lot of intangibles, and it just gets the job done. And it has all the access to everything iPhone that you want. I mean, you get your Apple Card, Apple TV, Apple Pay, Apple out the wazoo. You can use your Apple Watch with it and stuff. So people like them, and it's great for kids. It's great for college students. It's great for those members of the family who don't need a $1,000 iPhone, but you still want to have integrated into that Apple ecosphere. And there's a lot to like about the SE, which is why I think it's important that Apple hangs on to it and not change things too much fundamentally that people like about the phone. So that's my dream sheet. That's what I think they need to do for the iPhone SE 4. and we'll see if it happens and when it gets here. So, what do you think? iPhone SE fans of the world, go ahead and sound off in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think and what you think about my assessment on it and projections for what I'd like to see in a new iPhone SE. But that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, of course, please go into the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.